It's September 14th, 2021. I was thinking about, I did planetary arrest this morning. If you arrest everybody's sense of self-worth, they don't get a chance to defend themselves then, because whatever action they've done is whatever they've done in their uselessness at the point of contention for which the planetary arrests. So just, it is whatever it is. For me, at this point, for health reasons and what my physicality is going through inside of this Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361, but also as it went through, we'll call it condemnation for condensation of parity and paradox of what the physical biometrics outside, because you have statistical, analytical, and empirical data that makes a set of circumstances. It then can be run against a biomatrices of what the actual anatome was going through at the time that the diatom started turning from a perfect sphere or like a grape into a raisin. And that's where I feel like I'm at the moment. If you have a perfect grape and you dehydrate it, and you pull everything and healthy out of it, it folds in on itself. And I'm caught inside at the moment of everything collapsing in on itself, and it really hurts. And there's nobody that I'm aware of. Like, there's something that calls themselves West Point. I don't know where. There's something called an Indianapolis. These are incredibly important people, but for a population of, let's say, 1 billion, how many actually survive at these places? I don't know. And where can they be found? I don't know. Are they like the celebrity? Like, you can't just go, you know what, I want to meet Brad Pitt today as a nobody special. Like, I mean, like, they're the Brad Pitt, I suppose, of, like, their professional craft. I have no idea. I have no idea how to contact these people. I'm like, I live in an area where it used to be there was a set community device and way of being. There was a directory, there was a set of important people knew things, and without the use of technology, without a Google, without a self-reliant system, they were able to find people. Now that everybody has this Google system, I mean, even my son last night, he comes home from school. The shitbag New York City school department of everyone that attended the gala at the VMA half naked and dressed really to the nines in the brown skin color, darker than that, like the Gale Kings of the world, the frauds, FRAUDS. They were all there last night with all the money that they accepted creating this disgusting environment in New York State. It's a problem. So they went to this gala while the rest of us are in a really detrimental way. Now, if you think of, my whole thing is my amplexus is like a cubit. A cubit is a 3-dimensional, like a Rubik's Cube, 3-dimensional, without going into branding since I'm a Rubicon and I'm the icon. It's an amplexus that can be moved and changed in multiple different directions. But what happens is if it's all green on top, all yellow on the bottom, all white, all red, all blue, whatever, orange, and then somebody says, oh, that's really awesome, I want to take it, I want to look at it, I want to, like, whatever, but they don't know, no, you can't touch that. That's something that has to stay, because once you move it, it doesn't go back easily. It takes some really highly specified specificity to get it back together into something that is healthy. It is almost as though humans stole the galactic Rubik's Cube, CUBET. They started changing just moving things just to see, oh my God, I'm able, oh, how much money did it, oh my God, I made friends with whatever. And then all of a sudden, I populate an Attilus that looks like this disgusting Century 20, Decade 1, and plus, no, I'm in Decade 2, plus 1 year. So I'm in 2021. So now, here I am in this Rubik's Cube Tillis because somebody touched the main galactic Rubik's Cube that was set at CUBET perfect in a metric. Now all of a sudden, I'm in a touched Rubik's Cube that looks some different way. And now there's competing factors on who's the best planetary representative in order to put the colors back into the CUBET in the exact manner for which somebody originally stole it and then started to mess with it and then keeps passing the buck along while all of the humans are committing fraud on such a disgusting planetary scale. It makes law enforcement very difficult, because they're all so self-defensive and they all look so innocent in the forest. No, they don't. So now, that happened. And another way of looking at it is if you have this CUBET, but on a two-dimensional, say, sticker, stuck on something, and someone starts to peel the sticker off, and it starts to pull the perfect original artwork of squares, multiple squares in a larger square on a two-dimension. If they start to pull the glue off the backing and the original squares in their colors start to pull, so this way now they're not even able, there's no rigidity. It's now like a pulled apart gooey chocolate chip. It doesn't go back in a solid state just right. You're going to be missing some stuff once you try to put it back in a solid state. That's where I'm at with your humanness during my lifetime. And now I was sent for a totally different purpose. In fact, I was actually, when that Rubik's Cube thing got messed with, and it populated this with a set date in mind at Tillis, and they allowed it at Zodiac and Sundial to go on. I have another problem with the perfect Rubicon and the touched Rubicon that allowed this particular Tillis to envelop, and then some quantum raining and quantum leaping championship that's been going on, and they decided to leave the Tillis almost like a 35 millimeter movie running, so this way you definitely hit my date on that Zodiac Sundial. The celestial program actually hits Zodiac and Sundial for one moment, produces the anatom that everybody says that they really need, and now they just leave it in motion, knowing what the outcome is at the end of the movie, because they've already seen the movie, because they already have access to what happened when the Rubicon was touched. How did it get there? Because there is a backwards operation at non-human. I put on my metrics, my animal matrix. I'm like, I have this face during my being, my besieged, my betrothed not being near me, not able to genetically sign into my person per day, which is a requirement at our level. And since I'm not being electronically darted by him per day for health reasons, because you have me stuck in a storyline with shitbag characters that don't matter, like Tia Frio 1975 and Jason Peter Romer 1976, whose electronic darting system actually makes me more sick, and I don't even go near it. And so, because I don't have the actual health darting system and electronic, like, rejuvenant that I need, my health has been deteriorating horrifically, but it adds more into the problem of the Rubicon and lexicon. I have to think about this. That also sets off different motions in rational and irrational subset in quantum calibration and quantum leaping. But it's almost like I'm made for some reason to sit in this really dangerous position, going this really dangerous storyline, and they won't allow me to leave it, just so they can do quantum leaping at this point and pull all sorts of other things, which is where I say Galaxy is broken, because I'm not supposed to be in this particular position, and by me being in this particular position, it gives a line, a designated line that somebody now knows about in order to try to perfect quantum leaping, which brings the system, that's why I said they're coloring outside the lines. If I'm in Technicolor, which I am, I feel like a lemur, Lemur, with the big long tail of the white, black, the two colors that I wear, but the tail, the fur, and then it has these two like orange eyes that just stare at you and like stare through you, because they're always just curious. They're not quite sure where you're coming from or how you're working. That's my inner animal, spirit animal. Then I got this thing going on at Born Identity of Nicole Cattaruzza, star 1978, star 8378. And then the tertiary for quatrain is the energy system that's just like a jellyfish, but in the same silhouette cutout of my humanness, but not as dense, without endoskeleton and without muscular projections. It is just gas plasma set in a Endo.Reticulum, for lack of a better word, that's able to move and glide through time and space, that doesn't exist like this, but is easily transferable as far as I'm concerned, one life system to the next. Because if I'm in animal spirit world, like my inner spirit animal looks at humans like, yeah, I'm a lemur looking at a human going, I don't really speak human, but I can understand like what you're saying. I'm just not buying it, and I'm not taking it, like I'm just whatever, here for the moment. And then I have my human that everybody thinks is the same as them, which it's not. And then I've got the tertiary, which is the Endo.Reticulum spiritual gas feature, that doesn't have an endoskeleton or a nerve system that's hardwired into this earthly system, and which moves in a particular manner, being that the diorama around me has a hardwire, soft wire system. And that Endo.Reticulum-like being, because it doesn't have an endoskeleton or nerve system